Horizon, Rosemont, Illinois. St. John's with its first points of the game, trailing Depaul here early, 7-3. A three-point shot for the Johnnies. 17:35 to go in the first half. Billy, tell us quickly about this Depaul team, the style we can expect.
Well, they start out ablazing with Green and going on in the side to Comegys. That's what they like to do. St. John's in his zone. Depaul is red hot. But his team plays so loose this year, it's amazing.
Kevin Edwards with that field goal, and the Blue Demons go out to a 10-3 lead. This is the Blue Demons' home arena, suburban Chicago. Chicago against New York, if you will, and the city of Chicago always up for that. That second city complex. They always want a piece of a New York team. A foul is on Rod Strickland. There's one spot left in the dance in Cincinnati. Already Indiana and Duke advancing there yesterday. LSU here earlier this afternoon. The winner of this game gets LSU. Those two games coming Friday night, Midwest Regional semifinals in Cincinnati. Now that last shot by Depaul was not a three. Let me correct the score. I thought it was. It is 9-3 Depaul with Jackson at the free throw line for the Redmen.
80% free throw shooter, one of the outstanding players in America. I think lately, Brent, he's been spending an awful lot of time orchestrating the offense. And for St. John's to win this game, he's got to do some things in regard to penetrating and building up some big numbers for himself early.
4-point lead, big afternoon for Danny Manning. One of the great confrontations in recent memory will take place in that Southeast Regional semifinal when Manning goes up against Reggie Williams of Georgetown. He led the Hoyas back to a tough win today over Ohio State in the second half. I'd pay to see Williams play against Manning. What a confrontation. Comegys, a big-time player, couldn't get it to fall, and it is yanked down by the Redmen. They lose it underneath. Strickland the wraparound.
I guarantee you this guy will dream up some shots inside. You can tell he's a playground ball player, and he just creates things inside. For a man his size, it's amazing how he can get them off. Good steal. He goes on one side. Jackson tried to get him. Look at this move inside.
Strickland, another of those great guards out of the New York area. He's from the Bronx. He and Comegys combined for 54 versus Louisiana Tech the other night. And the press is on. Depaul wants an up-tempo game. Johnnies would like to slow it down, go half court, keep this game down in the 60s or low 70s. Depaul wants to make a run at the hundreds.
A good move by Joey Meyer to keep that full court press on at all times, because you have to score in order to be in position to put the press on. But he wants to up-tempo this game. I don't know which guy I'd wish not to have to play to force it up-tempo, Jackson or Rivers.
Willie Glass off, playing with that broken hand. He has a pad on the left side. And the foul going against number 23. And that is Matt Bruss' second personal foul. Carnesecca wanting a timeout here early.
Now Chevrolet announces even more of a good thing, extending its cashback offer on the best protected cars in its history. $1,000 back on all new Celebrities, $1,000 back on all Camaros, $750 cash back on all Cavaliers, and $750 on all Novas. That's even more reason to listen to your heartbeat.
The heartbeat of America, Chevrolet.
That's today, Chevrolet.
This is a Hayes modem. Plug it into ordinary phone lines, and you can send financial projections to the PC down the hall. Or locate a single part anywhere across the country. Make airline reservations. Send or receive electronic mail. Or access millions of pages of data, from company profiles to every fact in the encyclopedia. The Hayes modem. It's like sending your PC to college for under $600.
Someone put a bender in my left front fender. Leave it to the good hands, people. I got it in the door of my 4x4.
Allstate makes an accident a little easier to take. We offer a repair guarantee, and in most cases, we'll give you a settlement on the spot.
I parked in a lot in a place that I trusted, but when I returned, my window was busted. Leave it to the good hands, people. You're in good hands with Allstate.
A member of the Sears Financial Network.
From the shooting stars to the dunk and dazzle, CBS Sports presents Life in the Fast Lane. The road to the Final Four continues primetime Thursday.
Those hourly jets roar out of O'Hare Airport. 1 mile from the horizon. A lot of empty seats. Folks sit in front of the TV sets here in Chicago. They'll catch New York a little bit later. They want to see this Blue Demon team. We've had a clock problem here at the horizon. It has been worked on over on the far side. The 45-second shot clock is not operating on the left side. Now, it was operating on the right side. During that timeout, Dick Schreider, the NCAA committee chairman, met with Hank Nichols over there, and they decided, look, if it's not working on one side and we're going to use the PA announcer, the only fair thing to do here is to turn it off on the other side. We do not have a shot clock. The PA announcer will tell the athletes how much time is left. Foul going against Comegys. That's his first of the game.
Brent, we're still playing with a 45-second shot clock rule. It's just that they don't have one to see. He announced there as an example that have been down to 13 seconds. Don't know where he got that number. Very difficult to play under these circumstances.
Well, Depaul won't even notice it's gone. They seldom get it down close. St. John's, however, is have to bring it down very close a few times, as it does affect their half-court offense. Jones on a quick turnaround.
But Louis needs Jones to get started early in this ball game. Always capable, but sometimes disappears.
Strickland being defended carefully by St. John's. Now getting down inside, comes up with his shot. Good double team help there, but cleaned up underneath by Edwards. Oh, they let Kevin Edwards, who's only 6'3", burn him with an offensive rebound.
These clubs going after each other a little bit with some hand checking, Brent. This game could get a little rough early. Jackson and Strickland really going after each other.
St. John's only 1 of 6. A very aggressive Depaul team. Joey Meyer wants to see if Jackson has been slowed because he was ill the other night. Took 6 sodas before his drug test before he could pass any urine, and then he threw up on the team bus. They couldn't even practice yesterday. Coming in is Bruss. Another miss. But he battles it back for it, and Bruss missing the 10-footer, but there is a foul underneath, and that one is going to go against St. John's. It's against Shelton Jones, 31.
I don't know if I think it's going to be against Golden pushing Jones, Brent.
It did go the other way. He was pointing in that direction.
Now, one of the things that is going to happen here is Comegys is playing a one-man zone in the middle. He's not concerned at all about Bross. Now they're in the zone because of the out of bounds. But before, even in the man-to-man, Comegys was just patrolling the paint. Bross is going to have to look for a shot.
Brodnack's 5, just checking into the lineup. Jackson here at the point. 2 point guards out there. Jackson's 3.
Good job by St. John's to show a little inside attack to get that zone to pull back in there.
And Depaul will use Andy Locks, number 14. He's out there. He's their first sub. Jackson has all 8 of the Johnny's points.
Good move.
Great move.
So Green was a second guard last year, now moved up to the forward position. It's amazing how this chemistry has come together. You'd never believe that a guy his size could play the small forward for a team that's ranked as high as Depaul, but he's really doing the job.
Golden's rebound.
Golden, another one of those role players, doesn't touch the ball much. Starts in the ball game, but is usually quickly replaced by Brundy.
Edwards, the 3. Brodnack's rebounds.
Strickland going to come right back into the game now for Joey Meyer. Just a little talking to settle him down.
All leading 16-8. We have 12:30 to go in the first half. Earlier today, LSU eliminated Temple. Willie Glass on the turnaround.
Oh, good hustle by Jones. That's going to count. That was tapped from the underside back out of the basket, so obviously the basket's going to count.
So here is Strickland returning for Depaul. Marco Baldi, the hero of the Johnnies' victory over Wichita State, in for the first time. And Stanley Brundy on the floor for Depaul. He's number 23. There's Baldi.
Baldi going up against Comegys. You'll see some pushing in this one. He can touch it.
Comegys much quicker than Baldi. Bodied him over there on the sideline and quickly picks up his first personal foul. 14 fouls on St. John's as the result of this one. The problem is going to be Comegys and that quick first step.
Well, Baldi, without question, pushing with the body to get out of there. Willie Glass
in there. Shelton Jones, he couldn't handle Terrence Green either. Green's off early, 6 points.
Green considered the outstanding high school football player in Michigan. He's got a body for it. All basketball here, obviously, at Depaul.
St. John's trailing by 8, make it 6, and Shelton Jones is into the game. He could be a key here for Carnesecca.
Green is trying to go on every pass.
Blocks.
Good shooter.
A 3.
Has had trouble shooting that shot last year, has come back a great deal this year.
Depaul early. Strickland. Baldi. And the reach in on Green. Green turns around to the other official and says, "It wasn't me."
Re-enters the lineup replacing Glass.
Well, he made a pretty good point, Brent. You often wonder why the guy on the call didn't make the call.
Matt Rust returning for Carnesecca. He's out there with Jackson, Rodnex, Baldi, and Jones.
And Edwards coming in there for Green. You can see Joey Meyer wanting to keep this press and the attack on the entire game, using a lot of fresh people.
Jackson trying to get inside Comegys, and he does with a nice slicing move to the glass.
I think a good move that time by Jackson to prove that he's going to be forceful on the offense. Comegys usually waits back in there, picks those off.
Off Jones, out of bounds. Pass was intended in there for Brundy.
Real good job that time by Brust to help Baldi back inside. You don't want Comegys to get off with too many inside jumpers early. He can have giant days.
Strickland has had trouble on national television, as strange as that sounds. He's not played his best games when the tube is here. Rodnex reaching in on Comegys, his first, and there is Joey Meyer. His father, the great Ray Meyer, is alongside us. He's the radio color man for WGN Radio here in Chicago, which broadcasts the Depaul games. Think he ever second guesses his son on the radio?
I've listened to him. He does. He goes right after him. But don't you second guess him in front of Ray. Then you got a problem.
Edwards bangs in a jumper from the baseline.
Ray is still a fighter.
Joey Meyer starting to mature as a leader, if you will. Baldi has it knocked away by Laux in a foot race. Loose comes up with Depaul. Comegys lead pass. Bad gamble. Rodnex intercepts.
Well, you know, you've got a 9-point lead. Not a bad idea maybe to go for a home run early. Try to knock them out. Got good crowd support here.
Blue Demon bench help. Jones off the fake. Got in a little too far, made a strong move, and then got in underneath the hoop.
Yeah, he did the right thing there, Brent. When he realized he wasn't going to be able to make a clean shot, he just went all the way to the point to draw the foul, not worry about the basket.
That is the second foul on Comegys. That would be a number to watch as Willie Glass returns to the lineup for Carnesecca. You might notice his left hand as the game progresses. You might be thinking that's a cast. He broke a small bone on the top of the hand I was overlooking at. It is a piece of sponge rubber that he has on the top and the bottom, and then it's heavily bandaged. It would be illegal for him to wear a cast in this game. The officials have checked it already. A little bit awkward to handle the ball.
Oh, I think very, very difficult. Anytime your hand feels strange, you have a very difficult time having any kind of motion with your shot. And yesterday, the plastic cast that he had on was taken off because the officials would not let him use it.
So we've got a television timeout here. 9:42 first half. Depaul leading St. John's 23-15.
Good luck.
Thanks.
You're not just another face along the way to another place.
Sorry, can't use them. Maybe next year. Don't need them. Great lunch.
You're the pride of United's friendly skies.
Dinner?
Oh, not just now.
Rough day, huh?
Twice that.
Hey, tomorrow's another day.
We should have been here yesterday.
No, they're all right for us.
Got so many ways to fly ya.
Well, maybe
We're
I can do something
United
about it.
standing by ya.
Can you help out a dead battery in 18B?
Sure. Got nothing to add up anyway.
Tough trip, huh? What business you in?
You're not just flying, you're flying the friendly skies.
Now, you sure you can get 350 million of them to me by the 1st?
You're not just
How was the trip?
flying,
Not bad.
you're flying the friendly skies.
It began as a simple test to see what hundreds of business people preferred. Long-distance calls made on the fiber optic lines of U.S. Sprint or calls made on AT&T's lines. Over 75% preferred the clarity of U.S. Sprint, and over 90% of them said they'd switch. That's not a test. That's a landslide. Call U.S. Sprint. We're building the first and only 100% fiber optic network clear across America.
Why the Demons and their fans are frequently blue this time of year. As the top seed in 80 through 82, they lost the first game. Last year, they suddenly became a Cinderella. They roared into the East Regional, and they were eliminated by Duke. Now, the crowd noise here is causing the officials' table a problem over alerting the athletes on the broken shot clock. Strickland, nice underneath. Good tough guard on the penetration.
Super pass inside by Comegys also, Brent.
Because there is so much noise here, they can't hear the PA announcer. They're making up some cards over there, like with 30 seconds. They're going to try to hold them up someplace in the arena. See if we get a picture of that for you a little bit later. Here's Jackson and Willie Glass.
Paul back in his zone. Well, the reason for the zone, I'm sure, is because Comegys picked up those 2 fouls. They want to keep him in the game and protect him.
30 seconds. I don't know how half the athletes can see
No,
that.
that wouldn't be of any advantage at all.
Now the PA announcement can be heard.
10 seconds.
It's like a quiz show out here. Jackson's off. Baldy with an offensive rebound and a hoop.
Baldy's picked up a lot of confidence with that big shot he made the other night to win the ball game for St. John's. Big difference there. St. John's being down to 33%.
Well, they got their hands full with Strickland, don't they, defensively? The way he can play. Look at him cut away from Jackson. Oh, he's something without the ball. Edwards fires the 3. Short. Rebound, St. John's. Cross yanking it down, and here's Jackson. What's this high-tempo slowing dribble of Jackson's? Bringing the shot clock down.
Ball stays in the 2-3 zone. I would think those cards and that noise would be very disconcerting. When you, Brent, to hear the clock coming down, particularly when you're the visiting club here and the crowd starts getting real noisy. We're down to 20.
There's the 15-second announcement. Jackson on the run in. Here's the outlet to Strickland. Big time.
That's the 3rd time today he has used the rim to prevent the defender from going up to block his shot. Very clever.
Here comes the crowd, folks. On contact underneath. Baldy. The whole bench up. Two of them just checked in. Terrence Green and Kevin Golden returned. Baldy's second person. That's Golden.
Kevin Golden re-entered the lineup, replacing Brundy.
Now St. John's already over the limit, so they'll be shooting the 1-and-1. 17 fouls against the Johnnies with 7:12 to go in the first, and 5 against Depaul. They have 1 to give yet.
Now Edwards, a junior college transfer. You start talking about putting together the chemistry of the ball club. Yesterday we had Indiana bringing in 2 JC transfers. The perfect chemistry for Bobby Knight with the athletes they added. And here's Edwards, the perfect guard to go ahead and balance off with Strickland and move Green onto the forward spot. So it's amazing how one player can change the entire chemistry of a ball club.
It's a bit of a crunch time for the Johnnies here early in this game. They are down 12 points already with 7 minutes to go.
That's that 2-3 zone. Shelton Jones is open on the inside.
Glass doesn't, but again it is Jones banging in there with the rebound. That's 7 points for Shelton.
They can hit him right across the middle. St. John changes, goes to a little half-court trap here. Here's look for Edwards with his jump shooting.
Strickland run down by Edwards. Quicker to the ball on that side. Green sealed. Comegys. Edwards, he's hit from there already. That's 2 from that spot.
Brent, he'll be the man against that particular defense. You have to be so much aware of where Comegys is down through the middle, and he plays those wings perfectly.
Well, welcome those of you who are taking a peek here at the Rosemont. So far, the Blue Demons have been dominating St. John's. 31-19. Depaul in their home whites. Jackson can't hit it. Yanked down by Dallas Comegys, perhaps the most improved college basketball player in the land. This, the other star on this Blue Demon team, Rod Strickland, big-time guard out of the Bronx.
Little hand checking by Jackson out there, not called. Oh, nice pass.
Off Golden, couldn't get the handle on it. And there's a jump ball situation. They have the possession arrow. Depaul will keep it. Here's a brief game summary for you. We had the 45-second shot clock broken early on, so they've been calling out the time from the scorers table. Jackson and Edwards, the leading scorers, and Depaul blazing here at 65%. Carnesecca calls a timeout at 5:28. St. John's trails 31-19.
To break free, to reach new heights, master new skills, to meet the world on its terms and yours. Feel the pride. Show the world your U.S. Navy. Live the adventure. Call 1-800-327-NAVY.
The night belongs to Michelob.
Discover a new species, Chevrolet Beretta.
The heartbeat of America.
Beretta.
That's today's Chevrolet.
Last year, he dazzled his way to gold. This year, American Brian Boitano defends his title at the World Figure Skating Championships next weekend on CBS Sports.
The Southeast Region field is set. Georgetown and Kansas, Providence and Alabama. Those 4 teams will square off in Louisville on Thursday night. Ooh, that Georgetown-Kansas game will be a good one, Billy.
It really would be. The swarming defense of John Thompson and another guy with a great deal of experience in the NCAA tournament. There's that wrist I was talking about, all bandaged up. Looks like Willie Glass of the cheerleading squad. Foul on the inside. Golden going strong to the basket.
And Brust picks up number 3.
Personal 23, Ben Brust, his 3rd. For Depaul, Kevin Golden.
It is not going well for St. John's. Now remember, this team in the Big East tournament back in Madison Square Garden was blown out by Providence by 29.
John Hempel enters the lineup.
Carnesecca will try John Hempel. And Brust sits down with those 3 personals. If Hempel can get hot, he can use the 3 to climb back in this. He's going to need it.
He has some slow feet, though, Brent, and despite the fact that he's got the body, the quickness of the ball ought to give him trouble. And you mentioned the Big East. Up to this point, they have not lost a game in the NCAA tournament, but they look like they have a problem here. 5 teams in the tournament. They all have won their ball games until now, and Depaul stays in that 2-3 zone. Smart move by Joey Meyer for a couple of reasons. Now it's got to be St. John's catch him. He doesn't have to force tempo anymore. And St. John's going to have to put the shot up. Plus he saves Comegys down in the post, not picking up that 3rd foul.
Baldy hustling in for the field goal.
Smart move by Comegys not to come down with a chopped foul.
Paul doesn't want to slow it down too much.
Good
point.
Know that? Good point. I'm surprised that Strickland's walking the ball up the floor. They had the tempo all their way when they were forcing it.
Let me tell you what that does too, Billy. Edwards going to squeeze the trigger here. That'll take your crowd out of it a little bit. The crowd loves it when you press the ball down the floor. They want to keep this a home crowd advantage. That is 12 points for Edwards already in this game. There's Glass. Bam!
St. John's jam, Willie Glass.
How do you do?
Any question whether or not he can get up in the air?
I'm getting out of the way when he's coming through.
Real competitor. And a very good friend of Dallas Comegys.
Well, Depaul recruited him about as hard as they have anybody out of Atlantic City, New Jersey, and they couldn't get him to come here. Edwards with a hot hand forces one. But St. John's can't run down the loose balls. That was Golden.
Golden only averaging 3 points a game. Kind of a silent man, role player.
Great pass from Baldy that got away.
Kind of tough at that short
Yeah,
distance.
it was.
Yep.
Come to think about it, he was in a little bit close when he fired it, Billy. I think you're right. Jones, I think, thought he was going to come up with a shot. You know, Baldy was 5 of 5. He hit that winner, but he hit his other 4 field goals, too. No. He traveled.
For Depaul, 23, Stanley Brundy.
Here we're going to see the role player I was talking about, Kevin Golden. Nobody blocking him out. Just a blue-collar worker in there, puts it back up against the board. Good job. Now we see Willie Glass coming across the lane. One of the real power leapers in college basketball.
Stanley Brundy returns, and Comegys sits down for the Blue Demons at the 3:10 mark here. First half. Hempel nails the 3.
3-point field goal, John Hempel.
Hempel, of course, transferred from Massachusetts. Had great stats while he was there. Has not been able to duplicate since he's been at St. John's. Bulked up so much. You know, Lou Carnesecca is much happier with this pace than he was the way the game started out. Strickland trying to post up inside on Jackson.
15 seconds.
Nice job by Hempel staying with Green.
10.
And he comes away with the field goal.
Boy, that was good defense, though. Stayed right with him. Green just so strong inside. Paul goes back to man-to-man. Joey Meyer maybe feeling the game is slowing down a little bit.
2-minute mark. Glass uses it.
Willie Glass.
Strickland's going to like this. He wants to challenge Jackson with the dribble. New York City on New York City. Depaul has done very well getting guards out of the metropolitan area over the years.
No basket. Foul was before that.
13, Mark Jackson, his first. May I have your attention?
Well, there are the survivors so far. The Big East has not lost a game yet. The Southeastern Conference with 3 teams still going. The Big Ten down to 2. Big 8 with 2. ACC with 2. So again, the Southeastern Conference comes alive at tournament time.
The athletes have prevailed. But you know, that was interesting in that first game. We had a team from Philadelphia and a team from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The only 2 cities this year in the 64 field that had 2 teams.
Jones cleans up the missed free throw. And that was the first missed free throw by Joey Meyer's team. They are 7 of 8 here in the first half. So the Big East could wind up with its first loser in this one if St. John's cannot come back against Depaul. St. John's will need a lot of firepower, and that sometimes has been a problem with this team. Intercepted on the turnover.
Jones was running away from the pass. Jackson couldn't get enough mustard on it to get it down there. Depaul much better when they play that man-to-man.
That's a different game when they're in man.
That zone just slowed everything down and played to St. John's advantage. Oh, what a move.
Boy, is he quick. Well, he is something. Rod Strickland with 10 points.
Do you need to have guards to advance in the NCAA tournament? Think of some of the good ones we've seen. You know, David Rivers, Strickland, Jackson himself, Sherman Douglas, Kenny Smith at North Carolina, Billy Donovan down at Providence. Those guards can take you a long way. And again, the man-to-man brings the crowd back in.
Another Big East team faces difficulty in the second half. They'll have to come back against the Sooners, and that team's got firepower.
And what does Pittsburgh lack? Guards.
Yep. Glass. Oh, look at Shelton Jones up over the top of Glass. Almost put a saddle on his teammate underneath.
There's 3 big baskets by Willie Glass. Down to 12 and time running out.
He was out of bounds. It goes over to St. John's with 2 seconds left here in the first half.
They ought to get Baldy down underneath the basket and give him a toss. Let him try it. Don't have time for that.
Jackson. Oh, hit the front of the rim with a 3 at the buzzer. That's it. It's 42-30. Depaul with a 12-point lead.
If you just ask for a light beer...
Oh, give me a light?
You never know what you'll get.
Bud Light!
Oh, nice shot.
Heads up!
So if you want the less filling light beer with the first name and taste, ask for Bud Light. Because everything else is just a light.
The winds of change are blowing at today's Chevrolet. Put yourself in today's Chevrolet Corsica and feel the winds of change.
The heartbeat of America.
Corsica.
That's today's Chevrolet.
All right, we're going to be checking in with Jim Nantz and James Brown. I'm sure they'll get everybody up to date on what's going on in that Pittsburgh-Oklahoma game, the why Pittsburgh rolled to the early lead, and our coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship will continue after this message and a word from your local stations.
CBS Sports coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship is sponsored by Mercedes-Benz, engineered like no other car in the world. United Airlines, you're not just flying, you're flying the friendly skies. And by U.S. Sprint, we're building 100% fiber optic network clear across America.
I drove that car last weekend.
The big Mercedes?
Yes, Glass.
What'd you think?
I think you have to sit in that big leather seat, put Mozart, maybe Beethoven on the stereo, then go out and drive in tight rush hour traffic, up some back mountain road, all night in a rainstorm, and then you'll know what I think.
Which is?
I think just maybe I drove the perfect car, or as close to it as anybody's ever come.
My baby got her driver's license.
Baby, I'm 18, Mom.
I still don't think you're ready to drive alone. Well, who knows if you could handle the car in an emergency?
But, Mom, you can't protect me all my life. At some point, you've got to let go.
Before I do, you're going to have two things. A little more experience and a set of Michelins.
Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires.
When you want the rich, smooth taste of real draft beer, ask for Miller Genuine Draft, the Miller with the green label.
Green?
Just kidding, guys. Ask for Miller Genuine Draft, the Miller with the black label.
That's not funny, pal.
Tuesday on CBS. Robert Hayes.
I've been followed, drugged, shot at.
I'm so sorry.
Murder by the book.
This is CBS.
Lee Trevino, I'm looking out for #1.
First, look for the compact trucks that are #1 in sales. Toyota. Look for the trucks that are #1 in truck satisfaction. Toyota. Look for the trucks that have the power. Toyota. And the payload. You guessed it, Toyota. And look out for guys who can sink a 20-foot putt with a #5 tire iron.
Look for this sign at your Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana Toyota dealer.
If you were your car, you'd go to the CarX Brake Bonanza, a $49.95 brake job with a lifetime guarantee at CarX right now.
I'm Linda McLennan. Join me for all the news of the day, Monday at 4:30 on First Edition.
St. John's halftime in Chicago. Back here in New York at our anchor post, Jim Nantz along with James Brown. St. John's not the only Big East team right now in trouble. Pittsburgh is also. But the difference here, James, quickness looked like it might be that to me early.
For the overwhelming majority of the teams that remain in the NCAA, quickness right now is what's serving them all well.
And the home court advantage doesn't hurt either. But Depaul scoring the first 7 points and now leading by 12 at halftime. All right, out in Tucson, Oklahoma now up 12 on Pittsburgh. Under 6 minutes to go in that game. Let's get a feel for that one from Dick Stockton and Tommy Heinsohn.
Position that time to set up that easy jump shot.
Here in Tucson, it's been all Oklahoma. They've dominated Pitt in the early going in the second round game, and a steal by Grace of Oklahoma and a Pitt foul against Aiken. It has been a frustrating first half for Pitt. They have turned the ball over a lot. Their starting forwards of Jerome Lane and Demetrius Gore are on the bench with 3 fouls. And here at McHale Center, Dick Stockton and Tommy Heinsohn, Oklahoma has played it all the way to their tune.
They have dominated the defensive glass to trigger that fast break. They've come up with some steals on their press. They've got the tempo right where they wanted. And when they've been forced to slow down, Oklahoma has gotten a good inside game together, too.
Here is Ricky Grace, the solid point guard from Dallas. Misses the free throw, but Dave Seeger knocks the ball away, and a steal from Smith. Grace for 3 hits. And so Ricky Grace, who is the best three-point shooter for the Sooners, ups the lead to 40-25 and the biggest lead of the game for Billy Tubbs' 6th-seeded Oklahoma club.
No question, they've turned it up a notch.
Smith, surrounded by red jerseys inside, loses the ball, but it's last touched by Oklahoma.
You watch Dave Seeger right now. Smith oblivious to the fact that Seeger's coming around from behind. You got to be a little bit more alert than that if you're going to try to make outlet passes. Seeger right there.
That's why a lot of people think it's better to get the big...
So Pittsburgh and St. John's from the Big East in trouble right now, but there is one Big East team that's playing well in the second half, and that's Syracuse, James.
Critics are all over Jim Boeheim. His team has never won 2 NCAA games in a row. He's hoping to answer that question positively today. Right now, his team is nursing a 9-point lead. And let's check in with Tim Brent and Bill Raftery.
We want to welcome those of you who have been watching the Depaul St. John's game. We are at the Carrier Dome in Syracuse, New York. Syracuse led by 7 early in the game. Adrenaline was flowing from the hometown crowd. Western Kentucky then was ignited by big Brian Asbury coming off the bench for 4 rebounds and 12 points. The Hilltoppers scored the last 6 points of the half and trailed by 2. And that was the halftime score. But since then, Syracuse has gone red hot, and it's 49-42. Orangemen over Western Kentucky. We've got 17-15 remaining in the ball game. Tim Brand and Bill Rafter.
Of course, Jimmy Boeheim went for a little half-court trap after the timeout. Now the 3-2 by Murray Arnold.
Monroe is still hot. He's got 14 points.
The gamble with the 3-2 against Syracuse. If you leave Monroe alone, he's going to finish you off. They have to play him. Stay at home.
He also has this hometown crowd rocking.
Oh, Coleman got him. Easy call.
And to put Clarence Martin on the line. That is 3 personal fouls against Coleman. Both teams shooting well over 50% in the first half. The advantage off the bench went to Western Kentucky.
Well, Asbury, of course, 2 games in a row where he's contributed, and that's one of the problems that Western Kentucky's had. The big people do get in foul trouble.
Greg Monroe now has...
Although Howard Trish is having a good game for Syracuse, Syracuse enjoys the advantage in the backcourt, and they're going to need that in order to pull out this game.
All right, it's been a big day for the SEC, James. LSU, the 10th seed in the Midwest, upset the number 2 seed, Temple, a 10-point win by the Tigers. That is the 4th straight year now that Temple has been knocked out in the second round. Also, Florida from the SEC, upending Purdue, the number 3 seed in the East, 85-66. Vernon Maxwell with 24, and Doug Lee had 29 in the first round game for the Boilermakers. Today, he was held to only 4 points. What a day for Danny Manning. 42 points, a career high. Kansas beat Southwest Missouri by 4. And to open things up today, it was Georgetown coming back from 15 down in the second half to beat Ohio State 82-79. DePaul leading St. John's right now by 12. We'll get back to Brent and Billy for the second half in just a moment.
When you want the rich, smooth, fresh taste of real draft beer in a bottle, ask for Miller Genuine Draft, the Miller with the black label. It's beer at its best.
Aren't you going to say anything about this Pontiac 6000? Oh.
College referees are working about 50 games during the season, give or take a few. The 3 or 4 hours before the game is when you get ready for a big game. We're not any different than the player or the coach. We have to get ourselves up. We have to start the concentration. We have to get ready for the big ball game.
We talk about pregame preparation. We talk about things that could happen during the course of the game to make sure that the game runs smoothly.
Once the game gets started, you know, you kind of tunnel vision your mind and the referee in the ball game, and I don't really think of anything outside of the peripheral of officiating the game.
It's a tremendous mental preparation. I think in theater, when you put your costume on and you walk onto the stage and you present yourself. So true, I think, in officiating.
This message furnished by the NCAA.
DePaul leading St. John's by 12 points here at the half. The winner of this game goes down to Cincinnati, the Midwest Regional, in the semifinals, and they will meet the winner of the first game, LSU, beating Temple by 10. Remember last year, folks, when LSU went on the move, Dale Brown hugged my colleague Billy Packer, gave him a big kiss. Billy, you want him to kiss you again?
No, I don't want him to kiss me, but I'll tell you what, I'm happy to see he's here because he's been great for the game. Yeah, let's talk about this game first of all. I think it's kind of obvious that this DePaul club is on a roll. It doesn't look like St. John's have much of a chance to catch him either.
I think it'd take a minor miracle. DePaul's just really talented, much better. Louis doesn't have the horses they've got.
One of the things you said to me when you first came up, and it's kind of interesting that you would be pulling on a conference base. I think it's great to see that. What Florida did to Purdue today, your conference is loaded with some good athletes.
I'm really ecstatic that we've got 3 teams in the final 16.
And I said about 8 weeks ago, Alabama will be in the Final Four. There might be more than one SEC team, I hope. One of the things I also mentioned to you about, we go back a long way, back in the assistant coaching days. Right. One of the things I noticed about your maturity as a coach, there had to come a time when all of the outside influences came and you said, Dale Brown, I am a coach, I can take my team there, and now your confidence is such that it seems like it rubs right off on your ball club that they know no matter where you are in the season, that you're going to be back and in the mix. That's really an excellent observation, and being an ex-coach, you know that. When I first came, Billy, I wanted to do a good job for Carl Maddox, the athletic director who hired me, who I'm eternally grateful for. And then I did get sick of reading about North Dakota guy, he has no credentials. And I really think subconsciously I tried to prove that I was a coach. 3 years ago, I made my mind up that I don't know how good or how poor I am, but I think I've got some ability. I'm going to do it my way. And if my way is wrong, I'll go back to Columbus, North Dakota and teach driver's education. Not yet. You may need to go to New Orleans first. Okay, Brent.
All right, Billy, thank you. If Lou Carnesecca comes back, I know what videotape he'll look at, and our coverage of the championship continues after this message and a word from your local stations. Hey, Dale. Good luck.
By this time tomorrow morning, I've got to be on location 500 miles from here. No limo for me. I like driving too much. This Mazda 626 Coupe has a fuel-injected overhead cam power plant that just loves to run. There's also a very sophisticated suspension system that really takes the kinks out of corners. You could easily pay $6 grand more for one of those European road cars and not get a better car. But if it make you feel any better, you can always send the money to me. My address is 337...
You're listening to Children of Japan. This joyous and beautiful sound comes to you from Delta Airlines, because Delta is flying to Tokyo, gateway to the Orient. Come with us to a land steeped in tradition, yet as modern as tomorrow. We'll fly you to the gracious charm of the Far East with all the comfort of the familiar West. Delta to Japan.
Delta gets you there. We get you there with care.
If your house was destroyed, would your insurance pay to completely rebuild?
Leave it to the good hands, people.
If you had an Allstate home replacement cost guarantee, it would.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
A member of the Sears Financial Network.
Why do 32 million Americans protect their engines with Quaker State motor oil? Because they're car-caring people who want only the best for their engines. Here, Quaker State quality stands up to the constant pounding, heat, and friction that breaks down motor oil. You can see Quaker State quality, the pure protection that comes from our state-of-the-art formula that can't be beat.
Quaker State people, reaching for the best.
This is CBS.
Nature knows no shortcuts. Perfection takes time. So we give nature the time to make old-style beer perfect. With the slow, expensive method of double brewing called krausening for smoothness and drinkability. Nature's way takes much longer. But after all, there are no shortcuts to being the best. Heileman's Old Style, America's best brewed premium beer.
Turn your radio to 67 AM. If you're not entertained, stimulated, or excited, you must be dead. If not, listen to Chicago's new talk radio, 67 MAQ AM.
The money man behind Ed Verdoliak, an exclusive report tonight at 10.
All Championship is sponsored by Mazda Cars and Trucks. The more you look, the more you like Mazda value. Taco Bell, the cure for the common meal. And by Allstate. Leave it to the good hands, people, to insure your home, your car, or your family. You're in good hands with Allstate.
How about the efficiency here in the first half, Billy Packer, for these two teams?
Well, it's interesting. St. John's had a little bit more possession there, but Depaul, I thought, with the exception of the time when they slowed things down, Brent, really had the game all their way.
Willie Glass scored 6 of St. John's last 8 points. And Marco Baldi, he says, I'd like to play here outside Chicago more often. Friday night, he was 5 of 5, and in the first half, he was 2 of 2. And Lou Carnesecca says, big fella, get on out there. Now, let's remember Marco Baldi a year ago, he was ineligible. Do you remember the NCAA knocked him off the team? Subsequent to that, he has paid $11,000 back to his club team in Italy, and the NCAA restored his eligibility, and he has been a member of the St. John's team this season. Shot clock working. Didn't need it, though, really, in the first half. Certainly Depaul didn't miss it, did they?
Strickland guarding Jackson had his eye right on his belly button.
Matt Brust with those 3 fouls starts the second half. Shelton Jones.
Nice double team. Baldy could have gotten that ball right back with Comegys. You want to go ahead and try to get in some additional foul trouble right away if you can.
Strickland on the steal. Here comes the sophomore. Oh, he missed the shot, folks, but that was some move he put on the left side.
Go for it. Go for it.
There's his first miss here at the Rosemont. Comegys outlet tipped by Jones. Run down by Edwards. Golden reaching in is Jackson, and he ties him up beautifully. Depaul's ball.
On the held ball, alternate possession to Depaul.
That's one of those handmade signs.
Well, you know, we have the electronic scoreboard that doesn't work, and now we have a painted arrow.
You know, that horn I heard a little bit late here at the half.
Well, thank goodness that wasn't a Depaul shot, or I would have thought that guy was a rooter, because that horn went off about a second and a half after the thing was at 0-0.
Foul underneath, and that's number 1 on Shelton Jones.
You remember the game we had this year with Purdue and Illinois when it was 0-0 and the horn had not yet sounded. So it is possible for it to show 0-0 up there without the horn sounding, but I think this is manually operated here, and the guy might have been for a snooze.
There's Edwards. Squared up nice on that shot, didn't he? That's 14 points.
Edwards is out right at his average. That's what he's got, 14 points a game. 4 fellas in double figures at Depaul and the annual score and averages, so they're very well-balanced ball club.
Jones makes a move. Baldy follows up. His 3rd field goal here this afternoon.
3 out of 4.
You know, he reminds me a little bit of Jerry Cooney when he jogs back now when I looked at him in the face.
I hope he's a little more active than Jerry Cooney. He'd disappear on us for a year and a half. He loses eligibility.
What's he fought? Twice in 5 years? I can't keep track. Comegys up over him. Tapped back by Golden. And here's Green. Good hustle by the Blue Demons.
You know, I get a feeling that Depaul kind of went into that locker room feeling this game was over. They really haven't started pushing it yet. That can happen to you. You can fall asleep. Start thinking ahead a little bit.
Baldy. His 3rd.
Talking about a guy, and there is Marco, giving the stare. Talking about a guy that disappeared for a long time. Dallas Comegys came to Depaul, as everybody knows, one of the most heralded players that Ray Meyer ever got. And then all of a sudden, he just disappeared, and this year he has been one of the great players in the country.
He got the roll. Billy, what about Carnesecca switching Jones over on Comegys and getting Baldy someplace else on that defense? And Comegys a little too quick. He's going to really get him in foul trouble here.
Well, he might be. There's a walk. Louis not letting it go any further.
Same old thing with the same old bunch. So what's it gonna be for lunch? Burrito Supreme is what I like. So soft and warm and every bite. Said my, the usual why. Goodbye routine.
Where'd everybody go?
Hello, Taco Bell.
Mazda wanted me to tell you about their brand new 4x4, but I'd rather show you. I hammered this truck for days to see for myself just how good it really is. Bottom line, best 4x4 I've ever driven, period. Another real surprise was that Mazda's loaded up SE5 4x4 is priced close to the other guy's stripped down 4x4s. Now, if you ask me, that's worth jumping about.
While every brewer knows that nothing protects the flavor of pure, natural beer like darkness, very few do anything about it. This is one of the few. We protect Rolling Rock in light, tight six-packs because we brew Rolling Rock with all natural ingredients. Mountain spring water, no additives, no preservatives. Rolling Rock Premium Beer, so pure and natural, before you open a bottle, you have to open the box.
Let's eavesdrop on WGN Radio because Roy Meyer, the former coaching great, is over there as the color man. That's Chuck Swirsky. Working next to him, Wayne Larrabee, the play-by-play man. Let's listen to the coach.
And they don't use their defense to create offensive opportunities. When you have a team like that, you only catch up 1 or 2 points. It's going to take an awful effort for some team. I don't think they can catch up anymore.
Great father and son relationship. The Meyer family here in Chicago. Edwards. Jones with the rebound. Comegys blocked it.
Jackson had beaten his man Strickland, but Comegys, like so many good shot blockers, hiding in the pack.
Green offense. Really, Mark Jackson scored 10. St. John's first 14 points. He has now scored 6, and that was at the 14-minute mark. They've got to try to get him back in the offense. They're going to need some firepower. Pittsburgh closed within 10 on Oklahoma.
Well, you got to credit Rod Strickland a little bit for shutting down Jackson. He's done a good job, but Jackson has a tendency to do that. He tries to get everybody in the game, which is a good trademark for a point guard, but he doesn't have the supporting cast he had a year ago. So I think he has to be much more effective putting some points on the board himself.
You don't think Strickland doesn't want the folks back in the Big Apple to see what he can do against their pride and joy, Jackson?
No question. A lot of pride here between two outstanding guards.
And he almost went for it. Golden fouled Jones. That's his second personal. Now there are team fouls 2 against St. John's, and Depaul with 2 also. Golden will sit down, and Stanley Brundy, number 23, checks in. And those of you who have been watching that Oklahoma-Pittsburgh game, welcome to Rosemont, along with Billy Packer. I'm Brent Musburger. Depaul has dominated this game all the way, and Willie Glass scoring. That's his first field goal here in the second half, a total of 8 points. And Billy, what do you think the Johnnies have to do here to climb back in this one?
Well, they're not a real good come-from-behind team, Brent. They don't have a real good three-point shooting ball club. They like to play a tempo game. They don't like to have to go out and chase. So when they get behind, they have problems. We saw that with Providence.
Great steal by Glass. He's a tremendous athlete. Didn't have the alley open.
So is Brundy, who caught up to him on that play. Normally, Willie Glass would blow that one open.
Playing with a broken bone, a small bone, on top of his left hand. Busk muscling in.
Comegys almost got that again. You notice how he can come off his man? If you're going to play Depaul, you almost have to make Comegys guard somebody because he just plays that one-man zone in there.
Now the first hurdle, get it to 10. The Johnnies have got it there, and you're right. Depaul has not played with the intensity that they had early on, whereas St. John's battling their way out, and now here comes Jackson. 2-on-2, gets inside. Brundy to Glass. Great dish off by Jackson, and a foul underneath.
That was a super play by Jackson. Maybe after the play, it was a pretty nice play, too, huh? A little hot dogging.
Edwards' first personal, and the team's third.
You know, if you're Depaul, what you may have to do is go back to pressure defense full court, Brent, to get this team moving again.
Well, Joey Meyer has called a timeout. He has used a timeout here, and we'll be right back.
I did it! I did it!
Did what?
I just invented the wheel!
May I make a suggestion?
Sure!
Try these.
What are they?
Monroe Gasmatic Shocks. They'll give you the best ride ever. Guaranteed. Monroe shocks and struts are the next best thing to the wheel.
Guaranteed.
In writing, pal.
Ooh. Hey! Yeah! Great ride!
Looks like we won't have to reinvent the wheel for another, million years.
Hey, no wonder America writes Monroe.
Light fighters, the new light infantry. No matter where you are, in the jungle, the Arctic, the desert, or the mountains, you run out of day before you run out of challenge.
You know, all this talk about building your confidence might sound like a lot of hype. Let me tell you, hype doesn't get you to the top of this rock.
Be all that you can be.
Hey, Gal.
What?
The elevator's here.
Find your future in the Army.
The guys at Car and Drive are pretty impressed with the Mazda 323. They know what they're talking about. They say, and I quote, "It conveys a feeling of structural integrity and heft that belies its small size," unquote. What they're saying is, it's a small road car. They also say, quote, "It's one impressive machine, not only a solid driving package, but a solid value as well," unquote. I tell everybody it's the best small car I've ever driven. Of course, nobody ever quotes me.
Good burst here by St. John's, Billy.
Good defensive effort. St. John's giving a lot more effort right now than Depaul is. Could have been a foul call there, but Mark Jackson comes up with one of his 360 spins, stays in the air. Good feed on off to Willie Glass. Excellent play.
15 minutes to go in regulation. St. John's has whittled Depaul's lead to 8, 46-38. Glass at the free throw line, attempting to complete the three-point play. Tapped in by Jones.
And Depaul's attitude is leaving St. John's right back into this ball game. They've really turned it down a notch or two. And here's where that home crowd advantage helps you, Brent. The crowd sometimes can bring you back.
Strickland. Dowley could not go up into him because he's playing with the three personals. 12 points for Rod Strickland. And for Jackson, who is coming down the floor, he has not scored yet in the second half.
And here comes that crowd.
Glass.
Oh, what a quick step.
Score it. He'll come and shoot again. Wait a minute. Scored, but charged the offensive foul. And Louis unhappy with that one.
You know, that's a call, Brent. We'll see this great first step by Willie Glass. That's a call that I think we're going to have to see become more uniform. Either all of them have to count or none of them count. In regard to that charge after the shot.
Strickland forced one, air ball, out to Jackson. Great run by the Johnnies. Jackson inside. Now it's down to 4 at the 14-minute mark in regulation. Carnesecca and Redmond have climbed back in.
They're doing it with effort. St. John's has got the effort. Depaul has kind of left their game in the locker room.
Inside pass intercepted by Jones.
It's like two different teams. Look like they swap uniforms.
Down to 2, 48-46 at 13:23.
He has missed one shot in Chicago.
Comegys passes it beautifully inside to Brundy.
I wonder where the press is, Brent. That's what set the tempo for Depaul early. Now they're dropping back in his zone. Jackson wanting somebody in the foul line.
Jones and Comegys rebounds. An assist and now a rebound for the big fella.
He's got some hands, doesn't he? Ripped that off with the left. And he wants the ball.
Foul off on the other side.
Comegys really sat down on the baseline. He wanted the ball. That's the mark of any great player in the clutch.
That is has 4 personal fouls on Marco Balde. He will have to leave. And Terry Bross returns. He replaces him.
Louis loved the effort there by Marco. He probably would have needed a little rest here shortly because he's not used to going that long a stretch. Almost 8 minutes.
Andy Louts has checked in for the Blue Demons.
Nine from 10 from the field. Maybe the Chicago Bulls will be interesting.
Yeah, he reminds you a little bit of Tom Boerwinkle.
Some guys hit well in certain ballparks. I heard that.
I was wondering.
That went right over my head.
It really did.
Yes,
Zippity doo-dah. Good morning.
Tom Boerwinkle. Two-three zone with Comegys right in the center, trying to play the whole lane. Well, it really helps to have that shot clock up there, doesn't it, for the players?
A 3. Offensive rebound by Bross and knocked back out of bounds by Depaul. Fresh 45 for the Redmen, who were down by 4, 50-46, 11:39 in regulation. And Syracuse with the home court advantage in the second half, leading Western Kentucky and trying to close out the field for the East Regional. They would play Florida if they win that game. Those matchups are Thursday night in the Meadowlands. Now it is back to the Redmen. They were down by 12 at the intermission. They double up on Jones. Knocked away. Depaul on the steal. And they draw the foul. Second foul on Jones.
The St. John's coming foul, 31.
Good defensive quickness down in the corner, even though they're in that zone.
St. John's down to 1 timeout in this game. That may affect them. Louis had to use some timeouts early. Trails it by 4. You spend a lot of energy climbing back into one of these games. Sometimes you don't have a whole lot left.
Strickland trying to post up down inside on Jackson. Hadn't been able to get anything. Jackson won the foul on that screen.
All alone. Edwards. The three-pointer is good. 17 points here this afternoon for the other guard, Kevin Edwards, a 6'3" junior.
You talk about ball handling against the zone. A behind-the-back pass by Jackson really set things up because the zone was shifting as he was looking to his right. Give St. John's a lot of credit. They've been in a tough Big East race all year long. They're serving them well now.
Comegys misses. St. John's comes up with it. It's Jackson. Mark glides in for the layup. They close back to within 3. 14 for Jackson, inside of 10 minutes in regulation.
When you play against the Georgetowns and the Pitts and the Syracuses and the Dome, I guess you ought to be prepared for anything.
Good move by Edwards. Back to Comegys, who didn't get the handle on it, but he comes up under pressure anyway. He's been held to 9 points here this afternoon. 9:30 to go. It's a 5-point Blue Demon lead.
And it's become a half-court game, Brent. Nothing happening in between top of the key to the top of the key, which really favors St. John's. Notice Willie Glass hasn't gone for many jump shots at all. He's ready for one now, but he just can't get that ball seated in his hand. Nice.
Uses the glass. That's 16 for Willie.
He needs a little room there to get that ball seated. Just catching it off the pass and going up would be tough for him.
2 different games here this afternoon. Comegys. And he was fouled.
Dallas has been on that foul line 180 times this year, so you can see the activity that he draws and the traffic he draws when he gets the ball down low.
They reach the half with the Sooners up by the 10. Now team fouls. St. John's with 6 and Depaul with 3. Terrence Green has returned to the lineup for Depaul. He's number 13 at the top of the key with the ball.
And he's the guy that really got him exploding out of the box early and then went away on us.
So St. John's pace being played here.
Good double team help by Jackson.
Shot clock inside of 10.
He used his arm and got away with it.
Missed the shot. Cross outlet pass in the hands of Jackson, who's been breaking down on that wing. Under pressure. Comegys comes up. Lauk was there too. Comegys rejected the shot. Lauk drew the foul.
You know, Brent, look at the Depaul players seem to be more fatigued than the St. John's players. All bending over, grasping for air.
Mark Jackson, 2 shots.
Number 22, Elander Lewis, checks into the game for St. John's. He's a freshman guard out of Albany, New York, and a young man we did not expect to see here this afternoon.
Not a bad shooter, pretty quick.
Now watch this aiming free throw style. Fans in New York are very familiar with it. Whatever works, he's perfect. 4 of 4 here this afternoon, and the Johnnies have closed to within 1. What a second half comeback by St. John's. 7:53 to go in regulation.
I wonder if Dale Brown and I ought to get back in another little conversation, get the scouting report
Get
out.
that videotape out, boys. If the Johnnies win it, Carnesecca wants copies for everybody. Comegys flooded away by Glass. What a great defensive play. Jackson to save it. A collision. Lewis fouls Lauk. No doubt about it. Lewis crashed into Lauk going for the ball, but what a rejection down here by Glass.
Willie is an explosive leaper. Not a goaltend at all. Knocked it out of there. Then great hustle for the ball as Jackson might have stepped on that sideline, but super hustle by St. John's.
Now they're over the limit, so they're shooting 1-1. That team foul statistic. Depaul still with a pair to give, and that probably reflects as much as anything the tenacity that St. John's has played with here in the second half.
50% free throw shooter though, Brent. Excuse me, a 72% free throw shooter. Lauk's got a funny release.
Rod Strickland returns. Lauk sits down. Hit a couple of big free throws for him.
Here's something I expected for quite some time from Depaul. Little press on St. John's, try to up that tempo. This is what really extended their lead for him in the first half.
Jones breaking on the other side. Jackson couldn't get the ball over to him. Knocked out of bounds. Now the biggest lead of this game was 14. It was 12 at the half. St. John's has never led in this game.
They go back to the 2-3 zone, where St. John's loves this pace.
3 would tie it. Jackson will try it. He's got it. We're tied at 57. 7 minutes to go. Hold on, everybody.
But I'm not sure he wasn't fouled on that play.
Don't get greedy.
That was a good shot.
Inside, Strickland dishes off one at Brundy, and there's a foul. And Louis can't believe the call underneath. Hold on, he says no personal is going to be called on that. The officials get together on it now. It'll be out of bounds. We're going to have a timeout called. We've got a timeout called by Joey Meyer of the Blue Demons at the 6:40 mark, and we're tied at 57.
Shoo-doo-doo. Four guys rushing through the rush hour crowd, taking breakfast by the hand, by the hand. It's a fresh, hot way to start the day for a hungry four-piece band. By the hand. McMuffins fresh and hot, or biscuits golden brown. Breakfast from McDonald's, what a way to get around, round.
You're on, guys.
It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's. Breakfast by the hand.
It was the ultimate test of endurance, equivalent to more than a lap around the world in 8.5 days. This Mercedes-Benz traveled 31,000 miles, averaging over 154 miles per hour, stopping only seconds at a time for fuel and fresh drivers. Indeed, only seconds were needed, because during the entire trip, not a single mechanical failure occurred. High performance is exciting. High performance and reliability is Mercedes-Benz.
Like a deposit check, please.
Jeffrey Houdray has never heard of Unisys.
All the way from France.
It's from my grandfather.
Have a seat.
But Unisys systems process half of the checks in the U.S. each day. 30 of the world's 50 largest banks rely on Unisys for everything from international bank transfer to quick customer service. Jeffrey just knows that a new 10-speed bike is almost his. Unisys in banking, the power of two.
Well, when Strickland threw the ball out of bounds moments ago, the officials have ruled that St. John's touched it last, that they got a hand on it. So it's in Depaul's possession. Carnesecca was complaining about the call down at the end line. For a moment, it looked like the official was going to call the foul. That's the team foul situation. Possession arrow for St. John's. Time remaining in heavy traffic. All ball that time. Goes over.
All ball. Great play.
And Brust returns to the lineup, and Lewis will sit down. St. John's with a chance to take their first lead in this game. They have gone on a 25-11 run here in the second half to tie the score.
Brent, you asked me what they could do to get back in the game, and I didn't think they could do anything to get back in this game, but they have really taken it to Depaul. Paul picking back up. A little bit more aggressive defense. Go back to man-to-man. That zone just played into St. John's hands.
Jones thought Jackson was going to cut for the basket. Carnesecca stares at him from the bench and says, come on, Shelton. You know he's not going to go in on that play. What are you doing making that pass? Now Louis turns back around the sweater, and here we go. Now we got 6:16 to go. We're tied at 57.
Ross doing a good job so far in Comegys. Comegys wanting that ball and just can't get open.
Strickland finding it tougher going here in the second half.
There he goes.
Comegys takes it with the left hand. He is short. St. John's rebounds.
You know, Brent, he gets by with a lot of arm. He makes a path almost every time he makes a move to the basket. Hadn't had it called yet today. St. John's taking the crowd out of this game a little bit also.
Rust on the move inside. Hits the jumper, and he'll come up to the line. Chance for a three-point play.
Some comeback.
One of the great comebacks of this tournament so far.
On the other man's home court with a home crowd. And Depaul that was playing very, very well in the first half.
I think you guys overrate the home crowd in the tournament. I really believe it. As long as your officials are not influenced and the guy who's the home court coach is not hiring the referees, I'll take my shot.
I can't agree with you on that.
I know you basketball guys never agree with me. I love the noise. They play in the garden. Everybody cheer. Let's go.
They're not cheering for your team, though.
Arizona gets knocked out. UAB gets knocked out.
Syracuse is winning.
Edwards, great defense.
Oh, now wait a minute.
Hold on
there. Did he touch that ball?
Now they get together. He says score it. Score the field goal.
Now, you can't have goaltending if the ball would not be going in anyway. Let's see. I think it's going to be Bross that goes up there and touches this. Yeah, you've got to call it. It was going to be short anyway. You got a piece of it. Tough break for St. John's. They're really hustling out here now.
at 60 with 5:23 to go. Midwest Regional. The Horizon just outside Chicago.
And here's the press tempo that Depaul really used to their advantage in the first half. Then they just kind of went to sleep here in the second half.
Shelton had to give it up. Good helping defense by Comegys that time.
And of course, the reason Ross was open is for the simple reason Comegys went down there to help on the baseline. So you know you always have an outlet pass. Edwards.
Shot clock is down to 7. Jackson swatted away and out of bounds.
Now, Brent, here is a rule in college basketball I think we need to start talking about changing. Great defense by Comegys to block the shot, but a new 45-second shot clock will go on. See it right here. Good defense all the way around. Now, Comegys blocks the shot, which should be to the advantage of the defensive team. It's not. Now we get a new 45.
Bill Russell never knocked the ball out of bounds when he blocked the shot. That's what you got to teach him.
What'd you say in that three-point? I asked for the foul before. Take a break.
Bally has returned to action. We saw him. Number 14. He's got the ball right there playing catch with Jackson.
Shooting 144% here in Chicago. Don't be surprised to see him put up another jumper. This is Lou Carnesecca tempo right here.
Jackson. Missed everything.
Kind of surprised he took it from that far out.
It's almost like he thought the shot clock was down inside of 5 seconds. And it was not. Loose. Picked up by Glass. And a foul will go against Depaul. It's against Strickland, his second. The Johnnies hustling after every loose ball here in the second half.
Well, there's a case when you get a chance to get on a loose ball, make sure you have it before you try to make a play. Green did not, and that's why it caused the turnover. Joey went through, experienced all those years with Depaul. Only had one loss going into the tournament, got knocked off in the first round 3 times.
Tied at 60.
Aldi backing up on Comegys.
Jones coming around the corner, and the foul is on Brundy. We welcome those of you who've been watching the Syracuse game. St. John's and Depaul are tied at 60. We have 3:24 to go here in regulation time, but the story, the comeback by the Redmen. They trailed by 12 at the half. They were down by 14, and they have forged their way back into this. They have simply out-hustled and outworked the Blue Demons in the second half. Missing the free throw.
Good screen by Brundy, freed Strickland. What a steal! You know, New York City guards have that ability when a man goes up with a jump shot. I don't know where they pick it up. It's got to be a playground action where they reach right in there as the man's going up for the jumper and strip it away. Strickland has done it to Jackson, and that time he repaid the favor.
25 on the shot clock. Strickland can't get it to fall. St. John's
wide open.
They come out on the move. It's Jones. The Johnnies lead by 2, 62 to 60, 2:54 in regulation. Timeout, Depaul. That will leave Joey Meyer with 1.
I wasn't even in the market for a new car when I drove this Pontiac. Then I found that, depending on the Pontiac I got, I could get up to $1,200 back to pocket or use as a down payment. Or I could get 3.9% GMAC financing. Now I ask you, could you pass up Pontiac excitement with a choice of savings like that? Neither could I.
We build excite
I'm Charles Seaver, builder and artist. My little brother Tom is a major league pitcher, a strikeout artist. So a lot of investment firms would love to help him manage his money. But I found a firm that's happy to help people like you and me, too. Dean Witter. They're helping me plan for my children's education and my retirement. Maybe I haven't won 300 games, but Dean Witter always treats me like an all-star.
You're somebody at Dean Witter.
A member of the Sears Financial Network.
Introducing a new riding mower with the tightest turning radius in its class. And yet the sort of heavy-duty transaxle and powerful overhead valve engine you'd expect to find only on commercial equipment. Introducing the new John Deere Riders. Nothing runs like them because nothing's built like them.
Well, here's a case where Stanley Brundy, off to the right of that arrow, hesitates a step, Billy, and that's all it takes.
Billy, he does. That was his man, Shelton Jones. What I thought was so great about this pass by Jackson, he had a hard time getting a hold of the ball to start the break, but then came up with a super bounce pass that came up soft.
Story of this game, Dallas Comegys, only 4 of 11. He is scoreless since the 9:33 mark. Depaul has fallen behind by 2 with 2:50 to go.
Brundy, the only non-starter in the game for Depaul, but he plays just as much time as Golden. See if he uses that arm. Too late.
On the turnover, Jackson wraps it up, and St. John's can go up by 4.
Comegys tried to use that arm. Jackson wisely came back in to help out. Why do you feel comfortable when Jackson has the ball in his hands if you're a coach? You know, he just seems like he reads that defense perfectly.
Shot clock inside of 15.
Gonna watch a 5.
Baldy checks it, and now it comes down to 5 seconds. Now Jackson will have to hurry. Gets inside, throws in.
Yes, what a shot!
It's a 4-point St. John's lead, 21 by Jackson.
Not only did he split the defense, he had Dallas Comegys to contend with.
Depaul only 1 field goal in the last 7 minutes.
Look at how the St. John's defense is packing back inside.
Green rises up too high, off the mark, goes back and recovers, though. He followed up his miss beautifully inside, and now it's 2.
Well, Brent, you've got to give up something.
There goes Jones breaking on the wing. Strickland's there, but he gets inside him, and he can't bury the layup. He misses it. Depaul can tie it. 116. Strickland goes to Edwards. Short. And out of bounds. St. John's ball. A chance for Depaul to tie it, and they can't get it to fall. How could Jones have missed that layup down here at the other end?
Well, what hurt him was Strickland cutting underneath him, but he should have kept that concentration. Should have maybe even gone for the dunk.
I welcome the Syracuse audience, the end of this one. Baldy going hard to the basket.
Yes,
he's got the layup. A 4-point lead, 10 for Marco. Inside of a minute now. Strickland not there. St. John's runs it down. They got a 2-on-1. Jackson hits Glass with a beautiful look off and a foul. What a comeback by Louis Carnesecca and the Redmen of St. John's. Watch Louis as he walks in his bag. Come on, get it down. That's it. Shoot 2.
Well, you'd much rather have the dunk layup.
St. John's, Willie Glass has 2 shots.
You know, and Brent, in that particular case, you want to go for the score. You don't want to go ahead and worry about the clock. It's at 45 now, so the next time St. John's gets the ball, they can hold it to the end.
Willie Glass, 16 points, 10 this half. And remember the 6 he scored at the end of the first half? Go back to, he missed the free throw. If you're a St. John's fan or you're Lou Carnesecca, that one hurts. And if you're Joey Meyer, the Blue Demons, you say, great. Remember that thunder dunk? That may have helped turn this team around also. He puts down the back end.
What happened with this team is Depaul went to sleep at halftime. They thought they were already on the way to Cincinnati.
A 3, not there. It's lost into the hands by Baldy. Score it, and he commits the foul. Depaul still alive here.
Brent, we're at a 3-point differential now. A made foul shot puts us in that situation where a 3-pointer can win something.
Stanley Brundy comes through underneath, puts in the field goal, and Baldy fouls out of the game. Number 5.
He's had a great tournament so far. Great tournament. Missed one shot in the 2 games he played here. 5 or 6 today, and what was he, 5 for 5 the other day, including the winning basket. Good piece of officiating here, wanting to make sure guys don't walk across that lane.
The free throw here closes Depaul to within 2. Still in at 36 seconds to go.
You gonna think about fouling? Remember, the shot clock is off now. You don't want Mark Jackson to have that ball because he'll go to that line and strip it.
Come to the sideline for this inbounds play with 33 seconds to go. St. John's leading it 67 to 65.
St. John's looking maybe to go long with one man to keep Depaul honest. They've got Comegys back as a safety.
Jackson against the trap, gets it to Brust. Here's Brust quickly to Jones. And they put Jones on the line. They take him down.
He's going to call it 1-1.
Green fouls out of the game. Jones this afternoon, 1 of 3 from the free throw line. You would think the one player also didn't want to gamble on from the line. Probably Willie Glass, who's played a great game despite that broken hand. He's 1 of 3 from the line. Andy Louch checks in for Depaul after Green fouled out. 67-65, 1-1 coming up for Shelton Jones at the 19-second mark. Now the big one. It's a 4-point lead at 19 seconds to go. Depaul coming from behind. They've got to go up fast with a 3-pointer. Edwards takes it here for the left side. It is short. Comegys, and it falls. He can complete a 3-pointer with 12 seconds still on the clock. Depaul refuses to quit here.
How often do you see the shot come up way short? Remember the NC State victory for the national championship? Everybody kind of loses their concentration. The ball came up short. Smart move by Comegys to put it right back up. Not much Terry could do on this play. He just got caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. Brent, you've got to think.
Look at Carnesecca watching. Only had a shot to get that ball. Oh, he's great on the sideline.
That's not the same sweater he wore to the Final Four. That's long.
He was going after it. Strickland. Strickland to the glass. Left hand is tied it. 7 seconds. Depaul has tied it on Strickland. Comegys missed it on purpose. pictures tell the story. Depaul on the brink of elimination from this NCAA tournament. Joey Meyer gets a reprieve.
Well, Brent, there was no question that Dallas Comegys was trying to miss that shot, because as soon as he released it, he stepped right on, headed towards that line. First time I've seen it this year.
Now Depaul is on a 7-2 run. The last 40 seconds, and I want to take everybody back to what happened with the horn here on this clock. Billy, fill us in.
That's right. Remember at the end of the first half, and it happened here the other day also, when the clock shows 00, the horn is delayed what seems to me like a second and a half. So we may have, although 5 seconds shows on this clock, the way this horn's been operating, we may have 7.
5 seconds left in regulation. St. John's with the ball and the tie, and John Hempel, a long-range shooter, checks in for the Johnnies.
And Brent, they went over and talked to the man that's responsible for pushing that horn. The officials did. Asking the Depaul club to get back, so there's plenty of room on that sideline. The reason for that is the timer couldn't see when the ball was going to be inbounded.
Clock starts down. Jackson's going to go in all the way. He's got a shot. We go to overtime. Overtime at the horizon. With the overtime momentarily.
The muffler shop, the transmission shop, the tune-up shop. None of them has this total car specialist, Mr. Goodwrench. Whatever's happening with your GM car, he can fix. Because he has more than just a shop, it's like a laboratory. Equipped to diagnose any system in any GM car. And he's trained to understand the total automobile, not just parts. Mr. Goodwrench, the total car specialist. No one knows your GM car better. No one.
You know something? The way it runs and feels and everything? This Pontiac 6000 of mine is probably one of the finest road sedans of all time.
Oh, come on.
Probably.
Okay.
I did say probably.
All right.
Okay.
It doesn't matter where.
I looked up and there was no more ceiling, no more roof.
It doesn't matter when.
We didn't know where to turn.
The All-State Catastrophe Team stands ready. A team of experts around the country ready to converge on any disaster.
My All-State adjuster was here on the spot.
Our adjuster would say, I'll take care of it. And he did.
A lot of the neighbors I talked to haven't even heard from their insurance companies yet. And Allstate was right here to help.
The Allstate adjuster showed me that he had the experience and the know-how and compassion for a person that really needs it.
Leave it to the good hands, people.
You are in good hands.
You're in good hands.
You're in good hands.
With Allstate.
That's for sure.
A member of the Sears Financial Network.
We've got a final at the Carrier Dome. Syracuse wins it, 104-86. Syracuse heading to the Meadowlands to meet Florida. Let's go back to St. John's DePaul.
We are back, ready to start the 5-minute overtime. Now, as far as overtime timeouts are concerned, St. John's gets 1. DePaul had 1, so they have 2. Both teams are over the limit on fouls. You shoot 1 and 1. You just continue on with that stat. St. John's lost Marco Baldi in the final hectic moments of regulation. He's out of the game. Green is out of the game for DePaul. So St. John's with possession. 39-27. The Johnnies outscored the Blue Demons in the second half. Inside to Shelton Jones.
There's a man that's come alive here down this stretch. Although he missed that one layup, everything else he's done has been very positive.
Edwards, Brundy, Laux still out there. Comegys and Strickland. Jackson gambles. Strickland gets in. Was sealed up and fouled, but did you see the move he made with the ball in the air?
Now Strickland just goes in and he challenges people to come towards him defensively. Now watch this, he beat his man, goes inside, he knows all those big people are in there, but he just has such confidence that he can dish the ball off, and he takes it in anyway. That's all for Brust, right?
He has fouled out, and so Horace Rodnax, number 5, returns to the game for Carnesecca. Brust, the second Johnny to foul out.
You know, I talked about that New York connection. Clyde Bradshaw, Gary Garland, Jerry McMillan, Ron Norwood, all guards from the East prior to this guy that have made Depaul solid in the backcourt. Two of them were there when they made it to the Final Four in '79. Ray's only trip.
Pressure, and they get it quickly to Jackson, but he's all alone. Johnny's trying to hit the glass, and there's a foul underneath. Basket interference.
I think they're saying Shelton
goes over to Depaul. There was interference with the ball when it was up on the cylinder. He had a hand on it. It'll go out on the side. Depaul's ball. We're tied at 71.
Louis doesn't like it. I was surprised Jackson tried to challenge Comegys on that play. Right now, possession is really a key. Comegys just can't get it the way this defense is collapsing inside.
Edwards.
Strickland tries to steal every pass that's thrown to his man. You ought to backdoor cut him a time or two. Here he goes again.
Glass turns to the left.
One hand and all. This guy's showing a lot of heart.
And that one is tightened up. The Big East not going quietly into any night in this tournament. Comegys. Shot clock inside 15.
Edwards trying to keep it away from Jackson.
Now it's down with 6 seconds. Out of bounds, but hit by St. John's. It goes to Depaul.
Brent, that's what's tough. If you've got one man, you want to have the ball. If anything, you want to give Jackson the ball, let's say with 7-8 seconds at the top of the key where he has not used his dribble. To get down there in that corner gives a big advantage to the defense.
John Hempel into the lineup for Carnesecca. He's going to put his body all over Comegys.
Comegys can shoot over him if he can ever get the ball. That's a foul.
Now remember, they're shooting now. They're already over the limit.
Watch, Hempel is going to body him all the way around. Now, Comegys realizing he can't get it, tries to move. There's the foul, no question about it.
Dallas Comegys.
He's not going to try to bang this one up there.
He may have missed the most important free throw in the history of this school. Turned it into a 2-point opportunity in regulation to send us to the overtime.
How often do you hear about a guy missing on purpose to win a game?
Pittsburgh has just taken the lead on the Sooners. Jackson gets in on Love, throws it up. No, it's offensive foul.
Smart play by Love. He gave up his body there, Brent, because there's no way that he can handle Jackson on a penetrating move to try to block the shot, so he just gave up his body. Smart play.
77-73. A minute and a half left in overtime.
Dale Brown might have been right anyway, huh? St. John's letting Depaul take a lot of clock here, being down 4.
Strickland got in too far, but it winds up in Comegys' hands. Off Strickland, he goes for it and saves it. And the foul on Jackson.
Not a bad move, though, on Jackson. Strickland, not a good free throw shooter. He was down in the mid-50s and low 50s earlier this year, and now still up to 61%. On that shot that Comegys took, Hempel did a good job going right at him. Took a little concentration away.
St. John's could use the 3. Jackson goes on inside. Hempel missed the layup. Depaul, and they can kill it.
Got to foul. You got to foul Strickland.
Brodnax will put Edwards on the line. 34 seconds to go. Pittsburgh up by 1 against Oklahoma.
That's quite a comeback there, too. Edwards, an 80% free throw shooter.
Jackson.
Timeout, St. John's.
Louis uses his last timeout. With 25 seconds, he's down by 4 points. 25 seconds to work with. We'll be right back.
I wasn't even in the market for a new car when I drove this Pontiac. Then I found that, depending on the Pontiac I got, I could get up to $1,200 back to pocket or use as a down payment. Or I could get 3.9% GMAC financing. Now I ask you, could you pass up Pontiac excitement with a choice of savings like that? Neither could I.
We build excitement.
Nothing sounds better than a taco from Taco Bell.
Hello, hello, Taco Bell.
A reminder of Thursday night on CBS. We'll regionalize our coverage. Notre Dame, North Carolina. That's in the east. Kansas, Georgetown. That's the southeast region. That's 9 p.m. Eastern time live. Then we'll have a tape at 11:30 Eastern time on the Florida-Syracuse game. Well, we're back now for the final 25 seconds, 79-75. Depaul with the lead and the ball.
But you want Strickland to catch this ball and then foul him. You don't want it over there in Edwards' hands.
And he is fouled by Glass.
I think the proper strategy there was to go ahead and double-team Edwards, making it almost perfectly possible to get the ball to Strickland, then go trap Strickland. You want him on the line. You're giving up a man that's in the 60% shooting range against a guy that's up almost at 80.
Edwards comes up to the free throw line.
They are now 7 for 8 in overtime on the foul line. The only miss was Strickland's.
The three, way off the mark, and Depaul will go to Cincinnati. But that man made it tougher than Depaul anticipated. A great St. John's comeback, but it was not to be.
Sometimes you wonder what this club have been like with Walter Barrett. 8 for 9.
Is set for the Midwest Regional down in Cincinnati on Friday night. Depaul has advanced on in. They will play LSU. Indiana matched against Duke. Those are the two games that will be played on Friday night down in Cincinnati. Now let's go to New York, and here's Jim Nance. Jim?
All right, Brent, and what a comeback in that final minute of regulation by Depaul. That is the 5th overtime game of the tournament. 83-75, Depaul wins it. The MVPs, Chevy MVPs, Mark Jackson for St. John's and Kevin Edwards for